Well, good morning, Grace Church. It is so great to see you guys here for midweek worship. Go grab a cup of coffee and let's sing this song out loud. All right, come on, church, let's sing this out. And let praise be the weapon that silences the enemy. Let praise be the weapon that conquers all anxiety. And let it rise. Let praise arise. We sing your name in the dark and it changes everything. We sing with all we are and we claim your victory. So let it rise. Let praise arise. All right, every voice. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. And let faith be the song that overcomes the raging sea. Let faith be the song that calms the storm inside of me. Let it rise. Let faith arise. All right, every voice. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. And this is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We praise you, we praise you. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. With all creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. We praise you. Amen, amen. Man, I've been jamming out to that song all week long, and it's definitely become one of my favorites. For this week in midweek worship, I wanted to dive us into, and we're just going to go right into it. I wanted to dive us into Exodus in chapter 3 and 4, in one of just my favorite stories of the Bible. And the reason that this is one of my favorite stories of the Bible is when I was reading it, I had just become a Christian. And reading this just rocked my world because it was honestly just the weirdest book. It's when Jesus talks to Moses as a burning bush. And if you want to continue with me and read along with me, I am in Exodus chapter 3. And I'll be skipping parts and things like that, so feel free to just read along. It says in Exodus chapter 3, "Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. That's what I'm thinking. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses, and Moses answered, Here I am. If we fast forward, basically the rest of that chapter is God telling him, hey, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go to Egypt and you're going to set my people free. And Moses is like, I can't even talk well. What are you doing? So as he's talking, Moses answered, what if they do not believe me or listen to me and say, the Lord did not appear to you? Then the Lord said to him, what is that in your hand? Moses replies, a staff. The Lord said, throw it on the ground. Moses threw it on the ground, and it became a snake, and he ran from it. Then the Lord said to him, reach out your hand and take it by the tail. So Moses reached out and took hold of the snake, and it turned back into a staff in his hand. This, said the Lord, is so that they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared to you. And the reason that this passage slowly became my favorite is because of the symbolism and the importance of God asking Moses to lay down his staff. Not many of us really realize what a staff implies back in the day. We all identify with things every single day. A doctor identifies himself by wearing a stethoscope. I identify myself by playing guitar and holding a guitar all day. Moses was a shepherd. Moses' entire identity was within his staff. If he walked into town and you had a staff, you are identified as a shepherd. So when God asks him to lay down his staff, he was not just saying, hey, lay down your staff so I can make it into a snake. No, God is saying, lay down your identity. Lay down your life. And what happens? When we lay down our life, when we lay down our identity, if I lay down this guitar, it comes alive because of Jesus, because of what God does to it. When we lay things down so that God can bless it, they become alive. But here's the catch. If you keep reading later on that passage, God says, okay, now go ahead and pick it back up, right? He picks up that live snake by the tail, and what happens? It becomes dead again. In our lives, this is so true with every aspect, every moment. When we lay things down to God, he makes them come alive. But the moment that we try to pick them back up, the moment we try to gain control of our lives, the moment we say, okay, cool, you've been in the driver's seat, it's my turn, everything dies. This passage became my favorite because there are aspects of all of our lives that we have trouble laying down, right? There's always aspects, you always hear preachers say, give it all to the Lord, give it all to the Lord. But then in deep down, we're always thinking, yeah, except for that one thing. But all it is that one thing to change your life around. It's that one thing that God is saying, give it to me so that I can make it come alive. My plans for you are to prosper, not to hinder you, not to forsake you. What's that one thing? That one thing that we're having trouble laying down. Identify it in our lives. And truly ask ourselves, why can't we lay that down? I have to face myself in the mirror every day and go, why can't I lay this down? Why can't I just give it to God? It's easy to lay things that we're passionate about down to the Lord and say this is all for you, but what about that one thing in your life? This week, dive into that. This week, dive into laying everything down, your identity. Everything that we own is the Lord's, for him to bless, for him to own, for him to glorify. Everything is for him. If we approach our week, our lives like that, man, the things that we can do. This next song that we're going to sing is called Trust It All. I figured it was appropriate since we're trusting the Lord with everything that we're doing. As we're singing this song, I just pray that you guys would just sit in wherever you are, in your kitchen, in your living room, and just think to yourself, what is that thing that I'm having trouble laying down to the Lord? What is that thing that I can't seem to just give up? And really dive deep and say, no, you know what, in this moment, in this season, this week, this hour, I'm going to trust God with everything. Let's sing this out together.
Let it be
this week trusting in the Lord with everything, every aspect, every moment, every piece. Let's lay our identity down for Jesus. Amen. Hey, thank you all so much for tuning in on Midweek Worship with us. We'll see you next week. God bless.